Welcome to this comprehensive course on Pinia, the modern state management library for Vue 3. In this video, we'll dive deep into advanced state management concepts, best practices, and how to integrate Pinia with Vue Router, API calls, and Tailwind CSS for dynamic UI styling. Introduction to Pinia and State Management. State management is a critical aspect of building complex applications, allowing data to be shared across multiple components efficiently. Traditionally, Vue developers used Vuex for state management, but with Vue 3, Pinia has become the recommended alternative due to its simpler API, better TypeScript support, and enhanced developer experience. Why use Pinia? Simpler API, no need for mutations. State changes are done directly. Reactivity uses Vue 3's reactivity system, making state updates more predictable. Modular approach supports multiple independent stores, making it scalable. Built-in DevTools support easier debugging with Vue DevTools. Tailwind CSS in the context of state management. Tailwind CSS provides utility-first classes that help design components based on state changes. It allows dynamic styling based on conditions such as UI state, loading, active, disabled, etc., making it a powerful companion for Pinia when building visually responsive applications. Understanding Pinia stores. A store in Pinia is a centralized place where application data is managed. Unlike Vuex, Pinia does not require defining mutations separately. Instead, it organizes state management using three key concepts. State, the data that is managed globally. Examples: user information, cart items, theme settings, getters, computed properties that derive or filter state values without modifying the original state. Actions, functions that update the state, allowing for both synchronous and asynchronous modifications. How stores work in a Vue 3 application. Each store is defined independently, following a modular pattern. Components can access stores directly to retrieve data or call actions. State changes trigger automatic reactivity updates across the application. Integrating Pinia with Vue 3 components. Vue 3 introduces the Composition API, which simplifies how stores are used in components. By leveraging Pinia's modular structure, we can import and use a store within a Vue component, access and modify state variables directly, call actions to update the store, use getters for computed properties. Benefits of using Pinia in Vue components. Reduces prop drilling, passing data between deeply nested components. Ensures reactivity across all components that use the store. Keeps the codebase clean and organized by separating logic from UI. Pinia and Tailwind CSS for UI styling. When managing UI state, Tailwind CSS helps by applying dynamic styles based on state values. This can be useful in toggling themes, light/dark mode, indicating loading states for buttons and inputs, highlighting selected items in a list, managing animations and transitions based on state changes. Examples of UI styling with Tailwind. Applying different background colors when a button is active. Using conditional classes for visibility. Example: showing or hiding modals. Adding smooth transitions for state changes. Tailwind's utility classes eliminate the need for writing custom CSS, making it easier to reflect state changes visually. Advanced Pinia, persisting state and modular architecture. For applications that need to retain data across page reloads, state persistence is essential. Pinia allows us to store data in local storage, useful for persisting user preferences or authentication status. Session storage, best suited for temporary data that should reset on tab close. Cookies, helpful for storing small bits of information with expiration control. Structuring large applications with multiple stores. As an application grows, managing everything within a single store becomes inefficient. The best practice is to create separate stores for different functionalities. Examples: user store, cart store, theme store. Keep stores modular to improve maintainability and scalability. Use store plugins to extend functionalities such as logging, analytics, or API handling. Server-side state and API calls. Modern applications often fetch data from remote APIs and need to store it in a centralized state. Pinia provides an elegant way to manage asynchronous state updates, allowing applications to retrieve and store API data in the Pinia store, prevent unnecessary refetching by caching responses, handle loading, success, and error states efficiently. Best practices for API calls in Pinia. Use actions to handle asynchronous API requests. Store fetch data in state variables for easy access across components. Implement loading indicators to improve user experience while fetching data. Pinia with Vue Router for state-driven navigation. State management and routing often go hand in hand, especially in applications that involve user authentication. Pinia can be used to store user authentication status and roles, redirect users based on permissions, protect certain routes from unauthorized access. Use cases of Pinia with Vue Router. Redirecting non-logged-in users to the login page. Dynamically adjusting navigation menus based on user roles. Managing breadcrumbs and page history in large applications. By integrating Pinia with Vue Router, developers can create seamless navigation experiences driven by the application state. Optimizing performance and best practices. As applications scale, performance optimization becomes crucial. Some key practices to follow with Pinia include using getters for computed state prevents unnecessary recalculations. Avoiding direct mutations in components. Always update state using actions. Structuring stores efficiently. Modularize stores based on feature areas. Using Vue DevTools, debug and track state changes more effectively. By following these best practices, developers can ensure their applications remain performant and maintainable. Building a real-world project. To solidify these concepts, a real-world project is essential. A great example would be building a task manager app that includes user authentication and session persistence. Task management features: create, edit, delete, filter tasks. API integration for fetching tasks from a database. Tailwind-powered UI with dynamic styling. Through this project, learners will gain hands-on experience with structuring Pinia stores for different features, handling state-driven UI updates with Tailwind CSS, managing API calls efficiently within a store. Conclusion and next steps. Pinia provides a powerful yet simple way to manage state in Vue 3 applications. By combining it with Tailwind CSS, developers can build visually dynamic and scalable applications with ease. Key takeaways. Pinia simplifies state management compared to Vuex. Its modular structure enhances maintainability in large applications. Tailwind CSS pairs well with Pinia for dynamic UI styling. Pinia supports seamless API integration and persistent storage. Next steps. Explore Pinia plugins for additional functionalities. Dive deeper into Vue 3's composition API for better state management. Experiment with SSR server-side rendering. Using Pinia in Nux 3. Continue building real-world applications to reinforce learning. Got questions? Drop a comment below, and let's discuss. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tutorials.